Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Disney Pixar's Luca. And we're not really going to talk about the movie so much as the shipping around this children's movie. And how even when the director comes out and says, no, this is just an innocent movie about two male friends having fun, the shippers read more into it, and you can't change their minds.
No, and then they're coming down upon everybody, and because it's our ship and we say so.
So it's almost like the it's so weird because these media outlets have been slamming Star Wars fans, whatever, for being like, well, you're not the ones who own the franchise. You're not the gatekeepers to the franchise. You don't get to determine.
We are. That's what they're like.
Yeah,
you're
we
not.
are.
We are.
You don't get to determine what's canon, what's not canon. Even when the director comes out and says, no, they're just friends.
And the thing is, if you want to read it into it because it makes you feel better, it makes you feel like there's some things that you relate to, then you're more than welcome to. It's just that this whole idea now that they're flat out like, kind of like talking down to the director and acting like, well, it's this way because we said so. That doesn't make it that way just because you said so. It might be how you interpret it, and that's fine. But that's not the way the intention was.
We know your movie more than you know your movie, director. Here we go again. Business Insider. Luca proves Disney's Pixar wasn't brave enough to fully commit to their first queer animated...
Whoever said it was the first queer animated film? Who said it?
The media. The media invented this whole
Here's the
thing.
thing about Disney, what's really funny though too. When they actually come out and say, oh, here's our first openly whatever character. They've said this like 10 times for different characters. I mean, this isn't the first time.
Yeah, I know, right?
But they didn't even say that. You guys inserted it.
It's our first openly gay character since LeFou last week.
And it's like,
yeah,
you guys, when you ask about, when you start looking into it and you flat out ask the director, that was not their intention. You guys interpreted it that way, read into it, shipped it and put it that way. So now it has to be so because you have decided. And that's what the problem with. First of all, why do we have to keep, going there with kids?
That is the bigger question. We'll talk about that because, even the other day, Nickelodeon put this out. It was almost like, it felt like to me, now it could be a completely innocent post, but
it's teaching kids how to ship.
Yes.
I'm just going to say it.
Friend
You can talk
ship.
around it. I'm going to say it. They're talking about friends, but it's basically trying to teach kids how to ship people.
Yeah, let's ship these characters.
While they market these characters, people are like, who's that character? I'll go look it up.
Because we know in 4 or 5 years, the kids that are shipping characters now are going to be the batshit Twitter screechers that are watching half of our shows. So we gotta bring lifelong consumers. We have to make lifelong consumers.
And at the end of the day, if you want to, in your mind, ship characters, you're more than welcome to. But stop demanding that has to be canon because you decided.
Yeah, so let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're over 202,000 subs. Thank you for the support. Very much. We talked about animation. We talked about Disney. This is, of course, the nexus of that thing. We talked about all the weird stuff going on in pop culture. A lot of the drama being manufactured by the media and Twitter.
A lot of the drama is about fucking cartoons. Literally. Who they're fucking. Sorry, Mom, but that's what it's about. And I'm like, we have these kids shows. And they're like, even Bluey. They were even going there with Bluey. Like, about being like some kind of anti-whatever. And I'm like, this is getting old. These are cartoons. These are for kids. I mean, the director said this is supposed to be like before you hit that age of where you're interested in girls or boys or whatever, and it's romance and all that. This is like just friends. And over in Europe, I hate to break it to you, friends, they hug each other. They do here too. They hang out. They're more clingy than they are in America.
That is their
kiss each other.
That is their justification. We're talking about a story that takes place in Italy. Okay, Italian men, even the toughest, most badass gangsters, hug and kiss each other, right? They're very touchy-feely, right? I always find it very awkward when I've had no Italian people, I have Italian friends or whatever. I'm like, don't touch me.
Well, I was in France, and it was the same thing. And here's the thing, it's just... When I was a kid, and my best friend was a girl, we were actually of the age of having romantic feelings for people. We would sleep in the same bed sometimes. I'd hug her, she'd hug me. She practically jumped on me when I came back from France because I surprised her and she didn't know I got back. She thought I was still trapped in France, long story. And when I got back, she saw me, screamed, and literally ran across the dance and literally jumped on me. you know, and they would interpret that as, oh my gosh, clearly they're lesbians. We weren't. It's just that we were really good friends. Because don't you know you cannot be really good friends with someone of the same gender as you?
Now, this is the second time in a month that people associated with a Disney production have had to kind of shoot down shipping. Anthony Mackie came out and he was kind of like very uncomfortable. You can tell being asked this question because everybody wants to ship Sam and Bucky, and he was like, "No, dude, they're just friends. Remember when guys used to just be friends, and that's okay." But that's not okay now. People are shipping like so many hit pieces on Anthony Mackie. Like, oh my God, he said that they're not gay.
Disney has been going out of their way to try to be more inclusive in this way, and they keep making big deals in the media every time they do. Okay, constantly. Do you think if that was their intention, they would have missed the opportunity to go all over the media and announce it before the movie came out?
Yeah, because they were making a big deal about some background character in Onward. Like, well, she's coded gay. She's just kind of in the background.
We're making sure we show people. And they would have it all over the media, especially during Pride Month.
Yeah.
Especially during Pride Month.
Now,
they wouldn't lose that opportunity.
Oh, no. Current year Disney? Hell no. Now, here's where it gets weird, though, because we did a video before talking about Alex Hirsch. Now, in Hirsch's case, you're going to be like, what's the deal? In Hirsch's case, he actually wanted to have characters be explicitly gay, but he was forbidden from doing that when he worked on Gravity Falls. Back, 2012 or whenever it was.
Right, and now Disney's trying to bank on that now, and he's like calling out hypocrisy. That's different. And I agree with Hirsch that was bullshit. In this case, if Disney is they're doing a Pride special, okay? They're doing all this stuff, not done by Nickelodeon. They're doing some singing song Pride Fest too. Do you think for 1 minute they would miss this opportunity to cash in on that further if that's what their intention was? They would not miss it. Okay. Now, again, if you want to read it that way and it in some way helps make you feel better, and in some way it helps validate you more and make it feel like it might be a better, easier time for you because of it, then by all means, yes, feel that way. You know, if it helps you, then do that. But stop with this whole thing. Is this because we said so even when we're told it's not? Also, stop trying to flip and insert sex into everything.
That's the bigger issue. Why is everything kid shows? Oh, I can't see this.
If your entire identity is who you sleep with, you need to find more personality traits to focus on.
And it's always kids cartoons, right? And
yes.
Why is it kids? It's just stop. Anyway, so Out magazine asked the director, flat out, about whether or not they're platonic friends or whatever. Then they talked about how it seemed like there was more than friendship going on because they do hug each other, they cuddle, they touch each other, like kids do when they're young and they're not even thinking those thoughts.
You see little boys always hug each other all the time on things like, oh, he's my friend, and no one thinks that. And these kids are a little bit older than that.
Yeah, but still, they're preteen, right? And they talked about it. They said, according to the film's director, Enrico Casarosa, he said that Luca is actually more about friendship, if anything, and that he created the film to be about a time in kids' lives before romance was even a thing on their radar. This is true, believe it or not. Even though kids today are bombarded with sexuality, straight and gay and other, right? I'm not just saying it's straight. No. Kids are constantly bombarded with the internet, especially.
Our daughter was at elementary school, and that people were demanding, like, what, what are you? And she's like, what do you mean, what am I?
Oh yeah, you have to declare your sexual identity in freaking grade school. Now that's the thing that the kids are doing. Like when I was that, I had no idea. I didn't even think about any of that stuff until I was 12-ish, 13-ish. I mean,
I'm just tired of it inserting it. And then when he says, you understand, I understand people think that's maybe that way it is because that's how it feels to them. And then when the director flat out says, no, that wasn't my intention. Now there's all these articles going on about how, yes, it is because we said so.
Yeah.
And it's like, but he said it wasn't.
Well, here's what he said. He said, my first picture, I realized we hadn't done just kids being kids.
You're not allowed to do that, dude.
Yeah, and this was Out magazine actually asked me. So we just hadn't done kids being kids. So that was kind of part of me thinking about it. It was also specifically a little pre-romance. That was something that I was interested in as well because there's just that moment that maybe we're not thinking about boyfriends and girlfriends yet, which is really more about friendship. Those were the things I wanted to see, and it just came from me experiencing it. We wanted to make sure that we found character in there to get into the mix because it's really important we could find another point of view. We also don't see enough of, girls being close. Luckily, we have a wonderful movie coming next year called Turning Red about coming of age of a girl. So it's also something I love about Pixar. That'll be the next one that gets shipped. Mm-hmm. We can find diverse movies from different voices, and we're starting to really embrace that effect that they can look a little different and have a different tone.
You need to have diverse voices as long as it fits in their mold. Like, I think he's looking at it as a way of like, this is, how maybe Friends would be, in another country or something. And I'm just...
He didn't dodge the question. He didn't hint that there might have been something more to it, but Disney didn't let him do it. Because again, current year Disney is not the same Disney that Alex Hirsch worked under. He is flat out saying, I just wanted to do a movie about two kids being friends. Because we don't see enough movies about two kids just being friends. Every movie, whether it's straight or gay, has some kind of romantic
You're not allowed
component.
to do that. Because the internet decided. And it's like, look, like I said, again, if you got something out of it that made you feel better or helped you, that's great. But you don't get to demand it be that way just because you decided it was that way. Now, if the director said it was, that's different. But that's not what they're saying here.
Yeah.
Like,
I love how shippers have a better grasp of what these movies are about than the people who made them.
It reminds me? It reminds me of when you're in English class and you're reading poetry or whatever, stories from like hundreds of years ago, and your English teacher tells you it's about this, and the other because my mom has a good story. It was a Beatles song. I forgot which one it was. And the teacher was talking about how, it was because it means this, and the other. And the one guy actually wrote to them and asked them if it meant this, and the other. And they're like, no. It doesn't mean any of that stuff at all. We were just drunk. we were stoned or something. And we wrote that. It didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
But because the teacher, it means this because I say so. And that doesn't necessarily mean that's the way it is.
We were just really, really high on LSD when we wrote I Am the Walrus. I think that's what it was I Am the Walrus.
Because I Am the Walrus.
I'm pretty sure. And
it means it's an allegory for this, and it's like, no, it's not. And that's what gets me is that these people just decided it's what it is. And if to you that's what it means, that's fine. But you don't get to tell everybody else that's what it means and then demand it's what it means, after the fact because you decided.
Yes, you can. Because if you have a platform, you work for a blog, you can totally change the narrative.
I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of why can't we just have cartoons that are cartoons? Why do we have to go in, why can't they just be friends? I think even the girls in there and they're all just friends.
Yeah, they're friends. I love it. Business Insider.
Oh.
Disney wasn't brave enough to fully commit to their first queer animated film.
They never said it was.
The director literally said this movie was just about friends. He didn't say, I would have gone there. Because there are directors who are like,
Alex Hirsch. I would have gone there, but Disney said no.
Yeah, Alex Hirsch. And in that case, that's that,
And we'll back him on that. Because if he wanted it that way and they said, no, that's bullshit. Because they're trying to cash in on it now.
And this has nothing to do with, being anti. And that's the thing. It's always going to be spun like, well, you're just anti-gay. I'm like, the director literally told you what the movie was about, what his intentions were, and you read things into it, and you're basically telling the creator of a thing what the purpose should be.
That's what I'm against. I'm not against people being LGBTQ. I'm against the ridiculous shipping narratives that keep getting spun because we decided it should be that way. It has to be that way because we decided. And then they throw shade at anybody who doesn't agree. And even the person coming out and saying, that's not what I intended, doesn't matter. They have decided. So you have to accept it because they have decided.
So how many threats is this poor director going to get?
Oh, I'm sure a lot.
How many threats is this director going to get from people who can't handle the fact that he didn't want his cartoon characters to think about sex?
And moving forward, then people are going to see that all the crap he got. And so they're just not even going to make characters that are close like that anymore because they don't want anybody to misconstrue it. So you're not even going to get characters that might help or represent other people or might even make, even if that's not their intention, because they're going to stay far away from that as possible because the crazies are all going to come out and say it's because of this. I'm just like, why can't we just have cartoons about kids that are about kids? Why do we have to insert, identity and, sex into everything?
Even if it's not there. And this is what we're talking about. We talk about the cartoon crazies and we talk about cartoon stands, that everything is hypersexualized. And I'm not talking, and people are going to be like, well, if it was straight, it'd be okay. I'm like, no, he's literally saying and believe it or not, kids, if they're not exposed to that stuff constantly, don't think about that kind of stuff, straight or gay or otherwise.
We didn't when we were kids.
No, until they're older, you know, and you know, the hormones kick in. But this is about, you're taking an innocent thing and you're trying to make it something it's not. You know,
and like I said, again, if it means something to you and you think it might help you in
there's
some way,
nothing
then
wrong with
go ahead.
But don't
take it
demand
that
it.
way. But that's between you and what you've seen. That's not, you can't demand everybody else has to take it that way too, because you do. There's a difference. It's like if I took it one way and it wasn't what you wanted, I can't to tell you that you have to see it that way, because that's my view. Because especially the director is saying opposite. And they're trying desperately to slam them, smear it. I'm so sick of it. Just stop. Just stop.
This poor guy is going to get harassed. I can almost guarantee.
And it's actually going to probably do more detriment to movies, representative movies moving forward.
Pixar.
Sorry, but it's going to.
They won't go there. They're like, well, could the crazy cartoon shippers latch onto this thing and send us threats? Let's not even make this movie. Because they're going to read something into it that's not there. You know?
Doesn't matter. You can have two people just talking and then because they're the same gender, they're clearly into each other.
Yep.
They're together. Yes, the internet and the world and everybody else doesn't know it yet.
All right, so we're going to wrap this one up.
Yep.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.